Okay, so we're going to look at our scale drawings, 4.7 scale drawings. So a scale drawing is a proportional two-dimensional drawing of an object. A scale model is a proportional three-dimensional model of an object. So scale is the measurements in scale drawings and models are proportional to the actual measurements. The scale gives the ratio that compares the measurements of the drawing or model to the actual measurements. So you do scale drawings with like toy cars or some action figures. Talk about scale drawings, how much it is compared to the actual size. Okay, so those are very common things that you'll use scale drawings for. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Find the actual distance. So what we're going to do is, if we look on here, we have a scale that they give us. So we're going to, and then if we look right down here between Cadillac and Detroit, that is 3.5 centimeters. So if we measure it with a ruler. So we're going to set up our proportion and go 1/50, which comes right from our, that comes right from here, 1/50. And then, so notice that what we're doing here is we're putting the centimeters on top and the miles on the bottom. So when we set up the other side here, we follow the same pattern. So if I put centimeters on top right here, I'm going to put miles on the bottom right there. All right, so right here I have 3.5 centimeters, and then I'm going to put D on the bottom because it's that distance that I'm missing. So then we're going to calculate, we're going to cross multiply, right? Cross multiply. So 1 times D is D, and then 3.5 times 50, let's see, 3.5 times 50, that is 175, okay? So that's going to give us, so the distance is 175 miles. So we measure it on the map, and then using that along with this key right here, we can solve and find out the actual distance in miles is 175 miles. Okay? Okay, so we want to do a couple of more of these. So if we look at number 1, right? So we're going to use the same scale right here, 1 centimeter to 50 miles. So we'll do that, 1 centimeter to 50 miles. And they give us the centimeters on the map, which is 3 centimeters. And so we're looking for that distance. So we're going to cross multiply again. 1 times D is D, and 50 times 3 is, that is going to be 150 miles. Okay, now I want you to try to do number 2 on your own. So to set that up, we're going to go 1/50, because that's our scale for the particular map we're using. So from Escanaba and Saginaw, it's 4.6 centimeters. All right, so then we cross multiply. So we get 1 times D is D, and then 50 times 4.6. 50 times 4.6, that is going to be 230. So that's 230 miles. Hopefully that's the answer you got when you try doing that. Okay. All right, so if we look at this next one, a cartographer creates a map of Bucks County with a scale factor of 1 inch equals 2.5 miles. The distance between Quakerton and Sellersville is 2.92 inches. Determine the actual distance between the boroughs. So we're going to use that scale, and 1 to 2.5, and that equals 2.92. Now, how do we know to do that? Because we put inches on top and miles on the bottom, right? So we're missing that D. So we're going to cross multiply. So 1 times D is D. And then 2.5 times 2.92. So 2.5 times 2.92. That is going to give me 7.3. All right, so that is a distance of 7.3 miles. All right, so why don't you try number 2 and number 3, and then we'll come back and do 4 again together, okay? All right, so on number 2, here's our scale, right? And we're going to put inches on the top and then feet on the bottom. So we got 1 inch is to 20 feet. Now notice that feet are on the bottom, so they say the actual part is designed to be 18. So this time the 18 goes on the bottom and our distance will go on the top. So we're going to cross, this one's going to require an extra step this time though. So we're going to cross multiply. 18 times 1 is 18, and then 20 times D is 20D. All right, so we need the D by itself, so we're going to divide by 20 like that. Okay? All right, and so we have to, this is going to cancel, so we'll be left with D, and then 18 divided by 20. All right, so we got 18 divided by 20, and that's going to give us, what will that give us? 0.9. All right, so that's 0.9, and that would be inches. Inches to get that. All right, so let's look at number 3. Laura made a scale drawing of a famous monument. She used a scale factor of 1 inch equals 1.6 feet. So there's your scale right there. If the height of the monument in the drawing is 17.4 inches, compute the actual height. All right, so again, we're going to put inches over feet. Right, so we have 1 inch over 16 feet, and our scale drawing is 17.4 inches, so that would be go on top. So we're going to cross multiply. That's going to give us D, and then 16 times 17.4. 16 times 17.4. 16 times 17.4. And that's going to give us 278.4. 278.4. 278.4 feet. Okay. And then let's look at number 4 together. Elijah builds a miniature model of a car based on the dimensions of a popular car. He uses a scale factor of 1 foot to 2.2 inches. Determine the length of the miniature model if the actual car is 13.5 feet long. So our scale model, we're going to put feet over inches like this. So that's 1 foot to 0.2 inches. And they give me feet, right? So that goes on top. So 13.5 feet is how many inches, right? So we're going to cross multiply. 1 times D is D. And then 0.2 times 13.5. Okay, so I'm going to go 0.2 times 13.5. 0.2 times 13.5. And that's going to give us 2.7. So that is 2.7 inches in the model that's there. Okay. So then on this next section, find the missing dimensions of each one. All right, so when we do this problem, it says find the missing dimension, use the scale 1 to 12. Now what this is that means the first number is the model and the second number is the actual dimension, right? So whenever we set this up, right, the model over the actual, okay? So that's 1 over 12. So for each one of these, that's the way we're going to set it up. So if we look at number 5, right, so number 5, we would go 1 over 12 is equal to, and they give us the model, so that would be 6.25 over, let's say, A for actual, all right? So that's going to be A is equal to 12 times 6.25, so that's 12 times 6.25, so 12 times 6.25 is 75. So if we switch back over here, that would be 75, so that is 75 inches would be the actual. So if we look at number 6, use the same scale, 1 to 12. And this time they give us the actual, so we'll put the model over the actual, which is 15. So this one's going to take a little bit extra step. So we're going to cross multiply and get 12m, right? 12m is equal to 1 times 15 is 15. So then we'll divide by 12. So m will equal, and let's do 15 divided by 12. So 15 divided by 12, that gives us 1.25. So that's going to be 1.25. So that is 1.25 inches. All right, so I want you to try the 7, 8, and 9 on your own.